because I feel we can work on joyous longevity, everyone, because joy is a decision. We can make that decision. We can brood over the past. We can stumble over stones behind us, like Seneca said, but we also can decide to get a new outlook on life and change our attitude.
Siglinda Othmer has written a book called Joyous Longevity, the A to Z Field Guide. It's comprised of 26 short chapters about what creates a great life, and Siglinda can speak to this topic. She's a refugee, immigrant, academic, administrator, researcher, and gardener. She's raised 3 kids and 3 dogs, and she's traveled to over 40 countries. She points out that anyone can decide to escape the tyranny of aging and simply adopt techniques to embrace the freedom of joyous longevity. When you meet Dr. Othmer, you'll see how she absolutely embodies the essence of living a joyous life at any age. So, Siglinda, welcome to Bump in the Road. If you would, tell us your story.
Oh, hello, Pat. I'm so happy to be here, and my story can be very long, it can be very short. But the story of the creation of my book is that one morning I woke up and I was 80. And 80, how did that come about? 80, can you believe? Now what? So I was not in a celebration mood. But I remembered a happy time in my youth where I was traveling in Europe, learning about languages and cultures and dances, and I enjoyed my independence with gusto. So I thought, how can I get back to that? And then COVID hit. So isolation and fear, and I went gray, totally gray. The first COVID winter was hard. So I watched opera every night. The Metropolitan Opera in New York
Mhm.
had a telecast every night. It changed every night. So I did that every night. Loved it. By the time spring came and my garden woke up, opera got a little old. So I decided to do something else with my evenings. And I thought about what could bring me joy at this time in my life. So I did some research, sat down, and came up with my book. And here's my book. I came up with 26 practical ideas on how to make your life better at my age. And as it turns out, Pat, I thought I would write it for my fellow octogenarians.
Mhm.
Younger people really like it.
I was just going to say, I think that the elements of your book pertain to everybody at every age.
It is, I think my research showed it is a lifestyle thing because we think maybe longevity has to do mostly with genetics, which it does, but it's probably only 15 to 20%. So, what about the rest? The rest, I think, and I believe, is habits.
What are healthy habits?
Have you heard of the Blue Zone people?
Yes.
The Blue Zone people, and Dan Buettner, who researched them, he's figured it out. And I can just repeat what they say. However, I feel healthy habits, there's 26. I came up with 26. Had a dilemma with C. I have C for creativity, which is a good thing at any age. And I had C for curiosity. So I didn't want to bust my little outline, A to Z. So I stuck the curiosity into W for wonder. Like when you are in awe of something,
Mhm.
you may want to find out.
I think creativity is so essential in life. And it goes, as you were saying, it goes to curiosity. One of my guests once said, "What would I do in my more curious self. Every time he approaches something, he thinks about what would I do with greater curiosity. And I think that's such a wonderful approach.
Yes, I agree totally. Because it keeps you engaged.
Well, and it takes you down the most fascinating rabbit holes.
Yes, yes, yes. What are you curious about, Pat?
I am curious about many things. I'm always curious about the energy of the sky. I spent about 15 years flying sailplanes.
Oh
So,
my.
yeah, just talk about wonder, talk about awe, to ride the energy of the earth in a motorless plane for hundreds of miles. I mean, it's absolute magic.
What? What? In a motorless plane, just using the currents like a bird?
Actually, the currents are a small part of it, but generally speaking, what happens is you usually go up to about 2,500 feet and release, and then you have to go find lift. So it might be thermal lift, like the warming of the earth. It might be wave lift from a weather front moving in. It could be lift that you pick up off a mountain range. There are all sorts. It could be a convergence zone that gives you lift. So you start to become a student of the weather and the terrain, and you learn to find these invisible sources of lift to continue on your journey. It's the ultimate metaphor for life.
Well, how you said invisible. How do you find the lifts?
Well, for example, okay, there may be thermal lift under a cloud. Clouds hit that condensation layer. And so as a cloud starts to condense, there's rising air underneath it. Now, it may or may not be very active. It may or may not be very well concentrated, but chances are you'll find some lift under a cloud.
That is fascinating.
It's totally fascinating.
And it lifts you, like it lifts you.
Yeah, you circle in, it just takes you right up into the sky.
And what's the highest you've gone? You say you get released at 2,500 feet?
Yeah,
That's not very high.
no, it's not. But the highest I've been has been over 30,000 feet.
30,000 feet
Yeah.
on a natural lift?
Yeah, that was wave. That was a wave day.
A wave day. What's a wave day?
A wave day is when a weather front, particularly in the Sierras, the Sierras are really known for wave. And when a weather front comes in and it hits the mountain,
Yeah.
it creates a very steady layer of lift. And the key is then it curls over and it creates rotor, which is very rough, and you really don't like flying through that. But the key is you get through the rotor, you get to the wave, and you just ride the wave right up in the air.
Wow. Do you do this by yourself or do you have a co-pilot?
Well, you start off when you learn, an instructor, but my plane was a single seat plane. I had to learn to fly it myself, and everything I did was on me.
Oh my. I think I have that feeling in skiing, but that's just no comparison.
Oh, I don't know about that. Skiing's pretty magical, you know? I can remember as a kid, a day in Vermont. I'm trying to remember what the resort was. It doesn't matter, but it was really early in the morning. I was one of the first ones off the lift. And at the top of the mountain, it was fairly bare except for these glades of trees just glazed in ice. It was so
Oh, yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Those are
yeah.
magical moments.
Yes. Yes. Oh my.
So that's one of the things I'm curious about. But I want to look at some of the other elements too of joyous longevity because, I think they're all important. Your first chapter is about being awake. Talk
Yes.
about that.
Yes. Well, being awake when you wake up and it's a new day, you have a choice to set the vibe
Hmm.
for the day. And it's best to choose a positive vibe with a purpose, maybe for the day, or with an affirmation for the day, so that you get out of bed on the right foot, as they say in English, right?
You mentioned purpose. What is purpose and how important is it?
Oh, Pat, if you would ask me what are the most important of the 26
Hmm.
chapters, I would say purpose come is right there on the top because purpose gets you out of bed. Purpose gives you joy and meaning in life. Purpose is essential. And purpose can be small or purpose can be big, right? Purpose can be going to the market. and
Mhm.
getting fresh food and fresh gossip, or reading or fishing. And purpose can be big, like taking care of a partner or a child or a pet. I mean, purpose comes in many guises, and it's you that determines it. Because we all have purpose. We just have to find out, maybe think about it.
I think we need purpose. One of the big bumps in the road I see for people over their years is nobody prepares them for retirement. There's lots of information about financial planning, but there's no information about life planning. What do you do when you lose that identity of working and all of a sudden you have all this time ahead of you? And I see a lot of people struggling with this.
Very, very interesting. Well, I would say if you struggle with it, try V for volunteering.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That gives lots of people purpose and joy and involvement with life. There's so many ways. Either you use your expertise, your life expertise, what you did during your life, or you try something totally new. I do a thing, it's called, it used to be called Dining for Women. Now it's Together Women Rise. And what we do, we support women and girls all over the world on a monthly basis with parties that I do at my house where everybody brings a dish to share and a check made out to Together Women Rise. And there is a program each month determined for a cause in the world that involves women and girls. So that's a lot of fun, and it is a very non-religious, non-political, and only female-involved charity that has been going on since 2004, I think, out of North Carolina. So
What
volunteer,
what are some of
yes.
the groups that you've supported in this?
Oh, like birthing kits for
Mhm.
women in the Amazon when they're out in a canoe, and then all of a sudden, hello, labor starts. So birthing kits for that, or support education for young women in Nepal, learning about trafficking, human trafficking,
Mhm.
early marriage. Or a favorite of mine was um, financing stoves, smoke-free stoves for women in Guatemala when they cook in their homes and they have their babies strapped to the back and they inhale all the smoke, which isn't good for anybody.
Mhm.
Some of those. It was lovely.
Oh, I
It
bet.
is lovely. I'm planning one for September. I haven't studied it yet, but I will do one in September.
I'm going to go off on a totally different tangent now, simply because this has intrigued me to no end. Your fourth chapter is D for dress. What is the story with dress?
Oh, how do you show yourself to the world? And when I'm in a funky mood or I have nothing to write about, I get dressed up and pretend.
I have come to a point where I am absolutely focused on using everything I have. I have some great pieces of jewelry that I love and things of that sort. And people where I'm living right at the moment tend to not dress. I refuse to go that direction. I
Me
mean,
too, Brad.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
I want to use what I have. I want to enjoy it. I want to share it. I think there's an element of sharing beauty that is just really important.
Yes, and costumes and jewelry was part of the human existence since the get-go.
Absolutely.
The pharaohs, Nefertiti, everybody dressed up.
Eating well, that one's near and dear to my heart because I'm a total foodie. Does eating well parallel these blue zones, or is it, how would you define eating well in terms of longevity?
Oh, it's essential. There is 9 habits for the blue zone people that these blue zone people all over the world share. And the first 3 have to do with food. There's 3 of them that have to do with food. And they are, if you would like to hear,
Yes,
maybe,
very much.
yes, the first one is mostly eat plant-based meals.
Mhm.
Meat would be just a treat. And there have been studies, very impressive studies, where meat consumption is tied to heart disease and all kinds of diseases. There was a Norwegian study in 1943 to 45 when the occupying armies confiscated all meat. There was no meat for the Norwegian people from 1943 to 1945. And guess what happened to the emergency room visits?
They plummeted, I bet.
They plummeted. They plummeted. And in 1945, when things were different, meat consumption rose. Here we go again. So, uh, the first in the blue zone people eating habits is that plant-based food. The second one is very interesting. It said they all share the habit of eating only to 80% full.
Hmm.
Not like sometimes we all like to gorge ourselves, but up to 80% full. And the third eating habit is if you have a glass of wine, which I like, you have it at 5. And not as a nightcap, but you enjoy it at 5. By the time you go to bed, your sleep will be less disturbed.
Oh, I believe that. I think alcohol late at night is inhibits sleep, actually.
Oh, yeah, the half-life is just, yeah. So, but those three, and I think it's interesting, there's six more if you like to hear, but
Oh,
this is about
yes.
eating.
If it
Yeah,
has to do with food, I'm all in.
yes. Well, the one is reduce stress, then increase exercise, but exercise in a meaningful way. Like all these people in the blue zones, they walk to the market, they work in the garden, they make an effort to get up and do things, they dance. So it's meaningful movement. They don't go to the gym, but it's their thing. But however, Dan Buettner found out these things. And then this would be fact number 6 would be have a concept of spirituality,
Hmm.
like where your place in the universe is and how you relate to whatever you call it, God, nature, or whatever, consciousness. Then what am I forgetting? Then it is you have to have a connection to your family for socializing
Hmm.
and a community of friends that you can rely on.
I think that community of friends is so important, and I think it's one of the things that's missing in a lot of modern society, which is
Yes,
why we see so much unhappiness, mental illness. Friends really matter.
they do. And they have done studies where, like, a 10-minute phone call a day or 8-minute phone call, the New York Times did that with a friend, that is a good thing. Talk 8 minutes.
Even text. If you can't talk,
Yeah,
text.
yes. And yeah, to an old friend or a new friend, or, just try to be social, get out of the house, right?
I think paying attention to your social life is really important. It's too easy to have it fall by the wayside, and you can't let that happen. People get busy, they get involved in jobs and family. It is really important to cultivate friendships, I think.
And maybe even if you can do it early before you turn 80.
Or 70 or whatever. Yeah. No, I
Right.
think that actually, if I were to look back at my life, one of my regrets is not putting more effort into cultivating those friendships.
I'm with you, Pat, because family, career, husband, kids, all that takes priority. It took priority for me, and I had to learn it. I had to learn it after I was by myself. My 3 kids lived far away. What was I going to do? So I had to learn it. And Pat, it takes effort.
Oh, it does. Absolutely. And consistent effort over time.
Yes. And thinking, like creativity, what could we do? Right? What could we do together? Something new, maybe new restaurant or an horseback riding, and then you ache for a week.
Well, it's interesting. I moved to a new area and I've been here about 10 months. And one of the things, and I do a lot of things through Meetup, which is just a social-based app that connects people with similar interests. So your interest might
Ah,
be photography or hiking or eating out or whatever. But I realized that a lot of the meetups were centered on the more urban area around here and not on the suburbs. And yet, so many people live in the suburbs. So I started a meetup for the towns of Eagle Star, North Meridian. Boy, in just a few weeks, I have over 150 people in the group.
what? What do you do with 150 people?
Well, everybody doesn't show up at once, but we'll go out for we're doing coffee this Saturday, coffee, chocolate, and gelato. We'll do a happy hour. We're visiting a winery.
Yeah.
All in this general area. I want to keep it focused in this area because in the winter, when it gets dark so early, don't want to go out at night. They don't want to drive far. So by keeping it focused on a small area, I'm hoping to provide that social connection that a lot of people I think are really looking for.
Yes, and that we have lost because we drive into the garage and close the door
Yes, absolutely.
and sit on that proverbial couch with the TV thing on.
Oh, TV. I got rid of TV 20 years ago, maybe a little more. Actually, what happened, this is an interesting story. The news or something was on in the background, and I had two cats. And I turned the TV off, and I could just feel the anxiety level in the house go. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I turned the TV back on and you just felt it go, you know.
What? Your cats had these sense?
Yeah, so it was part that you could just see the reactions to the tone of the barrage of noise that came from that TV. And that really opened my eyes and made me start to question, what am I putting into my brain and body by having that TV on?
And that is so cool. That is a terrific story that cats are smarter than
Well,
people.
they pick up on, the
Right.
vibration, the sense. I think most animals do. We're the ones who are a little bit slow on picking up on these things.
Yeah, right, right. Plus the images that stick with us during the night. What do you put into your brain before you go to bed, before you go to sleep?
Oh, I always do something peaceful. But actually, I have a routine. Mornings, I wake up, I meditate, I find 5 things to be grateful for. They have to be different every day. And I often actually meditate twice a day because I find it to be just so enormously beneficial in
Yeah,
terms of mindset, outlook, peace, calmness.
yeah. Blood pressure,
That too,
all that.
probably. I gave up measuring my blood pressure, it was too upsetting.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Oh, lovely. Yes. Yes. 5 things to be grateful for and different every day.
Have to be different every day. And it goes back to what you were saying earlier about small things and big things are equally important. It can be something as small as the beautiful sunrise, which actually is rather big if you think about it, or it could be, gratitude for the dragonfly in the garden. I think that just becoming aware of these so many wonderful things that bring joy into our lives is really important.
And how fortunate we are. How
Yes.
fortunate you are if you had a chance to travel, um, like you have and seen other parts of the world. One realizes how fortunate we are in where we live.
We're very lucky. We're not very attuned to the rest of the world except for what we see on TV. And I
Right.
really wish people would get out and travel more because you'll realize that we're all the same. People are the same, and there aren't any differences. And I think recognizing what a big yet small world it is important.
Right, right. Plus, there is an additional benefit to travel because I feel traveling makes you practice all those skills that we need every day. Adaptability, right? We need to adapt. We need to carry our luggage, so we have to be strong. You have to be alert. I think it's a great brain training to travel.
I agree. And I think one of the real benefits of travel is that you tend to be much more present because you're in a different environment. The language may be different, the habits may be different. So you become very present. And I think that's part of the draw of travel because often people aren't present in their day-to-day lives. They're doing their list in their heads or whatever. But when you travel, you tend to be much more present.
You gotta be.
Yeah.
You gotta be,
And
right?
that's a novel experience for people sometimes.
Yeah.
And maybe they can't put their finger on it, that heightened awareness that goes with
Uh-huh.
presence. But you can have that in your everyday life. It's a matter of training your mind.
But there's one thing, for instance, being in the moment. How about cooking?
I think that's a great example.
Because you gotta be in the moment.
And you want to be, you're tasting and you're adjusting as you go.
And it's creative because you don't have to
Absolutely.
do the same thing all the time unless it comes to baking. Baking is a precision thing. However, when you cook, you can change it up.
Oh, absolutely. And when you get that right combination, write it down so you can do it again.
Yes,
One of the things on your list that I find interesting is forgiveness.
yes. That's a tough subject.
Why?
It's well, because sometimes when the hurt is so big, then it lingers and lingers and lingers. So you have to make a decision and consider all the parameters and then just, you know, do this 3 times and get it out of your soul and forgive and forgive and forgive some more. How about you?
I think forgiveness goes to compassion, which is important. I think if we truly understood anyone else's journey, we would have nothing but compassion for them.
Yes,
And I think that if you look at any hurt that you suffer from a perspective of compassion for the other person, it helps with forgiveness to let go of it because chances are they're just doing the best they can at that time. No matter how hurtful it was to you, it really was never about you.
that's correct. Don't take it personally,
Yeah.
but but don't take it personally. It's about them. It's all about them.
Independence. What does independence stand for?
Independence,
Yeah.
independent, make your own decisions. Independent, try to stay in your own home as long as you can. Adjust things that you can't do anymore. Do them smarter,
Hmm.
right? Think about it or get help when you have to. But independence is something lovely. Get your car out and drive, or get on the Uber, right? On the subway if you have one around. Independence makes it's joyous actually for me.
Oh, I agree. I think getting out and about is fun. I mean, give me a road trip any day. I love a road trip.
A road trip, not in
Yeah.
the air, not an airplane, not a slide,
I'll take an
glide.
airplane too, but road trip is okay.
So where would you go on a road trip?
Oh, anywhere. I'm new. I'm living in Idaho right now and I'm new to Idaho. So I have all these lakes and these beautiful areas and these mountains that I want to explore. And I'm actually taking October off from recording for the podcast. I'll be publishing, but not recording. So I can actually do some local road trips and get out and see things because Idaho is breathtakingly beautiful.
Yes, yes. I've been to Utah.
Oh, Utah's amazing.
Yes, yes. And of course, Colorado. Yes.
They're all beautiful.
America has this way of stretching. It is just so huge. When you travel in Europe, every 60 miles, you have to speak a different language. Here, 60 miles is nothing.
Well, and the East Coast is different than the West Coast.
That's
The
right.
East Coast is much more concentrated, much more, I think, rooted in tradition and habit and family and all those things. Whereas the West Coast is still kind of wahoo, big open spaces, big skies. I mean, the scale of everything alone on the
Right.
West Coast is
Right.
the antithesis of the East Coast.
Yes, yes, yes. And this is America for all of us.
Yeah, it's a very interesting country, and I
Go
think that
see it, right? Go see it.
yeah, go visit. I mean, go down south and enjoy some of the wonderful food. Go visit South Carolina. Go up to New York City. I mean, they're totally different cultures.
Yes.
And just totally different. And the variety in this country is amazing.
Yes, yes. Where are you going next?
Good question. I'm not sure. I haven't really been thinking about long distance travel for a bit because I just having moved 1,000 miles, I'm kind of happy to settle in a little bit.
Yeah. Where did you move from?
I moved from, I call it Santa Fe by way of Arizona. I moved from Santa Fe to Prescott, Arizona, and it did not suit me at all. And then I moved up here.
Uh-huh. I love Santa Fe.
It is an amazing place. I love it too, but it's not the right place for me to be living. But
Uh-huh.
I really do like it. I love the artistic aspect of it. I think it is simply breathtakingly beautiful, and the colors. You can see why artists like Georgia O'Keeffe settled there. And
Yeah, 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 yeah. Right.
yeah.
And skiing at Taos. It's great.
Well, actually, and the ski hill right there in Santa Fe is not bad either.
I haven't tried that, but I have ski towers and the mountains are so different from Colorado. They're all pink and purple and flat and tabletops. It's just so magical.
It is absolutely magical. I think New Mexico is one of those places where you cross the border and you feel the magic.
Yeah. Maybe consciousness is everywhere in New Mexico. You know, it's just hovering over those tabletops, right?
In your another chapter, K for knowing.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. What about it?
What is knowing?
Knowing is what you want. Knowing is what is good for you. Knowing is how your routines benefit you most. Knowing what your body can do, knowing how you feed yourself, not just the body, but also your mind and your soul, how to come to joy, actually. That's very important to know so you don't sit around being miffed, right? But knowing how to treat yourself well, to take care of yourself, that's very important.
And I think there's a deeper aspect of knowing, a spiritual aspect almost, of just knowing some things. And maybe I think that's amorphous. It's very difficult to explain. But I think for many people, you find it in nature. There's just a knowing.
Yes, if you look at a flower,
Yeah.
give yourself a little time. And I love flowers. And just look what's going on with flowers. I mean, it's just a being, right? I mean, one can go off and all this is so lovely. Yes, yes, yes. And knowing is, you just know it. If you listen to your intuition, if you listen to yourself, that's one big part of knowing. Listen to yourself.
I think intuition is incredibly important. And I think that as a society, we don't really develop our intuition. We're very practical, very linear, go to the right school, da 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 da. But that intuition, that right brain kind of sense of knowing, I think is one of our most valuable tools.
And not encouraged or practiced
Not
or
enough.
valued
Yes.
or believed. Because intuition, it's like a feather tap, right? I mean, you got to listen to it.
Although I think as you start listening to your intuition more and more, you start trusting it more and more. I didn't listen to my intuition about something recently, and I got kicked in the butt as a result.
Oh,
And
yeah?
I,
Like what?
I knew it. No, the circumstances don't really matter. The point is um, that I had a strong intuitive feeling about something, and I did not act on it, and that was not in my best interest.
So now you know it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now it's like I get this vague sense of I should do this or go this way or that. It's like, yes, I'll just do it. I'm not going to argue.
Yes, yes. Some say intuition comes from guardian angels that are around you that just go a little, nudge.
Well, then that goes to quietude. Um,
Yeah, right.
being
You
still enough to receive it.
you have it covered. Yes, right, right. We quietude, yes. I had another thing with quietude. In my book, I'm talking about the St. Michael's Chapel in Les Airs in France, where we were. I just came back from Gibraltar from a cruise in the Mediterranean, and Gibraltar is, as you know, is British, right? And it is a rock that has a lot of caves in it. There's roads and caves, and in there's a formation that is illuminated, and it looks like the Archangel Michael. It is amazing. It is amazing. That was a an affirmation of my letter Q that I described in the book. And this was just recently in Gibraltar. The Archangel Michael being present in this cave by some smart scientists having found the formation and illuminating it. Like, it's amazing. You should go see it.
Yeah, the I can remember as a kid going through the Strait of Gibraltar on a ship, and you have that big rock, almost a menacing rock, depending on the lighting and things, sitting there. And I remember at that same time, a submarine was passing the other way into the Mediterranean. And that moment, for whatever reasons, just it was, in the day of Jean Le Carré and all the wonderful spy novels, and it just kind of cemented that genre of literature for me forever.
Yes. And in you saw the rock inside are these caves, and it's mystical.
Next time I'm in the area, I will check that out.
Yes.
But what else goes to quietude? Because and the reason I ask is I think learning quiet, peace, stillness, mental stillness is an incredibly important pursuit for many reasons. Talk more about quietness, if you would, quietude.
Well, you mentioned meditation. It's a good thing to start the day with. My daughter and her husband, they start every morning with meditation. I just start with affirmation, but that is a moment of quietude, which is good. And then stop during the day, some time in a place that gives you peace. Maybe before you take a nap or after you wake up from a nap or walk. Walking gives me quietude. I love walking.
I do too. Actually, I walk every day, just about every day. And I have a 3 to 5 mile walk that I do depending on how my body feels and whatnot. And one of the things I practice as I walk is presence.
There you go again, being in the moment,
Yeah.
right? Like we talked about. Exactly. Don't stumble, right?
Let go of all those peripheral thoughts that really aren't doing you any good anyway, and just be there.
Yeah. That's something I had to learn. It didn't come easy to me, so I'm learning. I'm still learning that. I should do L for learning instead of lists in my second edition, maybe.
I think
Right?
I think quiet is something we have to learn in this world because
Mhm.
very externally oriented. We live outside in rather than inside out. And the good life is lived inside out, but it takes a while for us to usually figure that out.
What do you mean by that, Pat?
Um, by outside in, I mean you're always dancing to somebody else's tune. You're trying to please. You're trying to conform to society's norms. You're trying to do what you're supposed to do. Um, and it's constantly distracting. Living inside out, you're living more from deep within, what you value, what is important to you, what drives you, your intuition. And that's a very different path.
Right. What is your purpose?
Yes. Well, I think living inside out brings you to your purpose
Right. Right. And that brings you peace and joy.
and
On
curiosity.
there you go. Yeah.
I like the curiosity chapter.
Yeah. Right. Right.
What are
Yeah.
some of your favorite chapters in the book?
My favorite N for nature, and M for movement,
Hmm.
and O for objects.
Objects. Talk about objects.
When I give talks, sometimes it depends who I'm giving talks to, but O for objects about stuff. Stuff. The average American household has 300,000 items. 300.
My old house was like that. I believe that.
Yeah. So yes, if you crystallize your objects to the most meaningful things. So while my favorite, yes, all the chapters were my favorite when I was writing them.
Do you find yourself lost in these chapters as you write them? Because they're so wonderful. There's so much depth. I mean, I think you could almost write a book on any of these chapters.
Oh yes, Pat. Right. Um, Lost. I was determined to make the chapters short and
Mm,
condensed, like bouillon cubes, because the attention span, including mine, is kind of short, and I
it is.
like to come to, results. So I kept it all short, but you're right. I mean, every chapter can go into immense depths, immense depths. But I have fans that write me, and they like to do one chapter a night.
Oh, that's a nice idea.
One chapter a night. And one lady even sent me proof that she uses my book as a coloring book because I have illustrations. My daughter did illustrations, black and white, and she sent me the colored pages of the illustrations. I found it endearing.
Oh, yeah.
Multi-purpose publication, Pat.
Your final chapter is Z for Zen.
Yes,
What is
yes.
Zen?
Well, very difficult. Zen is for being in the moment, and I had experience with Zen when I was very young. I had lost my voice apparently as opposition to my parents, and I had to regain my voice. But I stuck into Zen, into my chapter Zen thoughts about death and dying and how we can come to peace with it. So I recommend reading it. Death is everywhere around us. And I learned from nature. Um, I have the example of a dead woodpecker on my stoop and a large tree dying in front of my window and my husband dying. So there were plenty of opportunities to think about the subject. And I did in my chapter. And I hope it's of consolation to my readers.
Is Zen also about balance?
Yeah, life and death.
Hmm.
How is that? Very good. Yes, be for balance.
Well, I think from a Zen perspective, we tend to look at the world in terms of duality, hot, cold, light, dark, etc. But Zen seems to find that perfect middle point of balance.
The middle point of balance. I have to think about that. Yes, like on a seesaw.
Or as a continuum, it's neither this or that, right or wrong. I think Zen accepts the idea that it's a continuum between the two, and there's no absolute answer.
Correct. No absolute answer. Yes, live with it. Live with it and be quiet about it and know it.
If you could give somebody advice about living a truly good life, what key things would you tell them?
Wow, Pat, that is yeah, know yourself, know your purpose, know your purpose, and treat your body well with enough sleep, with the right food, the right movement, give your body a movement break, and socialize. I'd say socializing is so important. Keep up with your family if you have one, keep up with friends, create friends, volunteer, be with it. Live life, participate in life, don't withdraw.